comments ready for people to drop the comments. It seems like I'm situated. I'm comfortable. You comfortable?
As comfortable as I could be.
Right? Woo! How Mexico changed the way I see my race. Like right now, it's crazy. It's crazy. I've never seen so much conversation about Mexico or leaving the United States before. It's just like everywhere you turn, people are talking about they want to leave the United States.
I mean, I could dig them. I've been when I left the country, it was on business. It was on. I was basically chasing a dream per se. Um, so I left the country a long time ago, and it was just a different experience for me. But I get it because once you experience a different experience, um, like the old stuff tends to shed away. So I feel them. I've been traveling. I've been expanding my boundaries, my borders since 2007. But it's a lot going on. So it's tough. It's tough. It's a chess game. It's really tough. It's tough to say what to do and what not to do in your situation because we all connected. We
Right.
all unified. We all unified in a sense.
Right. But I feel it'll be a different experience like when we talk about leaving the USA because what we're really talking about is like what impact is it going to have on you, right? When you leave cuz most people right now they're in the mind frame of leaving. It's like escapism. They're trying to escape something. And it's like everywhere you go, there you are. You can't outrun yourself. You know what I'm saying? Just because you move to another country doesn't mean all your answers and
Or
prayers,
your
all your
problems,
problems,
yeah,
yeah, it's gonna go away.
they
You're
don't
just gonna
go.
get a new set of problems.
And in a
You know what I'm
different
saying?
country, in a country where they lack a lot of the amenities and necessities and accessories, it's pretty tough to cope. It's pretty tough to adapt.
Right,
But I did it. You could do it too.
right. That's why I want to talk about
So,
like so for you. I want to talk about you as a black man because we talk about this a lot. Me and you always have these deep conversations, and like I always wanted to share with people like how in depth our conversations be because there's a lot of perspectives that I never think about until you mention them. So for instance, for you as a black man, how is it? What difference do you see like how you're viewed in the United States of America versus how you're viewed? We're just going to use Mexico because that's where most of our experience is from.
mhm.
How you're viewed in Mexico? Like, what would you say is the major differences?
There's a lot of differences. How I'm viewed in Mexico, basically, the way that I arrived, the way that I arrived in Mexico, it was on business. It was on sports. It was an adventure. So everybody that got to meet me, they got to see the basketball player. They got to meet the athlete. I was a young athlete. I was 24. From 24 to 28, I was basically in my prime, you could say. So as a basketball player, it's a whole nother angle. A lot of things being an athlete in another country you're exempt from. You know what I mean? As far as the limitations of where you can go and what you can do. Uh, it was an experience. It was a dope experience. A lot of things I would do over again, but there are a few things that I wouldn't do. Even though I made it through, I probably wouldn't do twice. But yeah, it was a dope experience to be an athlete and cross borders instead of just go on vacation or go abroad and try to search for myself. I was trying to make some money playing basketball. That's what I sought out to do.
Okay, so basically, how you're going to be viewed as an athlete would be different for you being viewed as someone that's trying to escape or find another country to find yourself. You was out there
Basically.
making money, making moves.
I was doing what I know best, and they love me for it. You know what I'm saying? They kind of praised me for it because nobody was doing it the way that I was doing it, and the people that came with me, the athletes that I associated myself with, um, Ron Solis and Mike Salisbury, to name a few. The American athletes and the Mexican national athletes as well. Like I built a name for myself as an athlete first, so I got the perks. It was a lot of things that came with being an athlete that I was used to.
So it's kind of unfair for me to be like, "How did you experience Mexico?" But because based on an average person's experience, because I could probably be the average person, but then not because I experienced Mexico through your lens.
Yeah, it was the same revolving door. You got to go in and out of the same doors that even though some of them you weren't supposed to go in. It was just cool because we were attached.
Yeah, but what I noticed too, there's places that I went where in Mexico that people have never laid their eyes on a black woman before.
True. Or I would say a Moorish American woman.
Yes, a black American woman. Like, so
Uh,
I remember going to a lot of places where people were constantly touching on me or just like in awe of my presence was something I've never felt in the United States. So for me, that was a culture shock or a culture change. You know what I mean?
right, right. I mean, yeah, it, definitely. Mexico was considered a third world country for a long while. So you know.
And we were speaking, this is about, so how long were you in Mexico? You've been in Mexico for how long?
2007 was my debut. Aguas Calientes. Aguas
Aguascalientes.
Calientes. Aguas Calientes. That's one of the few cities and states where the capital city, and the state share the same name.
Where
Um,
have you been? So you've been all over then.
every state. I've been to 33 states.
And what's your favorite? Would you say your favorite?
Couldn't say. Couldn't say. I couldn't say. If I had to say, I would say Michoacan. Probably Michoacan.
Right.
But I probably, and I've been there the longest. Like I lasted maybe 6 or 7 years in Michoacan.
Right. And Michoacan
And,
is a cartel state, though, right? Yeah. So what?
uh, say that one more
What does
time.
that?
It broke up.
Oh, what does it actually mean when people say, "Oh, this is a cartel state"? Like, what does that actually mean? I don't know if people understand that.
Probably normally a place where there lacks government officials, and mainly because they police themselves. I guess. I don't know. I don't.
That's a good description.
Yeah,
I would say that
that's
too.
just me being there for 20 years, that's what I would say. Like, because they lack government officials, like such as law enforcement in certain areas, pueblos, ranchos, municipios, that they govern themselves, so they could be considered you know, what you said.
Right. Right.
But yeah, Michoacan is a dope state. They call it, that's where a lot of the avocado comes from, the aguacate. I've been to um 90% of the towns in Michoacán, hasta Las Aguilillas, conozco, La Piedad, Zamora, Uruapan, Charapendo, Morelia, uh, to name a few. But
Right.
Michoacán, that's why it's probably one of my favorite places, because I know I've been to all the Las Playas, Plaza Azul, um, the Ixtapa, all of I've been all over
Right.
the.
For me, it seems like I've traveled to a lot of places, and even though there might be a few differences, I feel there's more similarities within the states within Mexico than I would say in the United
True.
States.
True. but like the foods, a lot of the foods that they eat, the dishes that they create, because they till the land. They're people of the land. They love food that comes from natural resources, as we
Right.
should. So
Right.
frijoles, papas, verduras, all that stuff. So you know that's what we should be doing.
No, for sure.
I don't know. Mexico just has my heart, all over the map, because every state that I've been to, they showed me something different. They showed me something pure.
As far as what do you mean by that? Like
Their,
pure.
their culture, how they treat each other. Um, the values that we, it's kind of like when I travel backwards. It's kind of in a portal. I went from I went from
Right.
Chicago to California, then I went from California to Mexico. It just felt like, not when I got to California, but when I left California and went to Mexico. I went to Miami first, but when I went to Miami to Mexico, it's kind of like traveling in a portal and going backwards in time. The way that they dress, the way that the music that they listen to, the things that they watched on TV, the things that they allowed, the things that they didn't.
No, for sure.
It
I
was all.
definitely
It
agree.
was. I felt like I was 12 again.
Right.
Playing
Right.
basketball, playing basketball on cement, playing basketball with no net, playing basketball behind somebody's house, playing basketball in the barn. We playing for some money though. We playing for some guap. We playing for some pesos. They doing their thing over here. I know the look. By the time we leave the town, in Mexico, any town that we're in, it's like family. I got a couple cousins, little brothers. You feel me? I done taught them how to play basketball, speak English. It's something that they connected, and
Yeah, because when you first started going, you didn't speak Spanish.
nah, I was, yeah. I- well, when I got there in Aguas Calientes, the first person that I heard speak Spanish, well, I heard a bunch of Spanish speakers, but when the person that came and got me, his name was Devin Ford. Shout out to Devin Ford. He was another staple in Mexico, basketball in Mexico. Because when I got there, I ended up playing with him. It's kind of like playing behind Kobe in Mexico or something. That level of play. He was dope. He's from Denver. We got in the truck. He was like, "You Antoine?" I was like, "Yeah, what's up?" I was sitting on a bench. He's like, "Let's go." So we walked to this blue truck. It was a flatbed truck. It was this OG Mexicano with his shirt unbuttoned at the top. He was sweating hecka much, and his wife. It was him and his wife. We hopped in the back seat. I hopped in the back seat, and when he got in, I think it was Pancho was his name, one of the owners. They were brothers. He uh he said something to him in Spanish, and he responded, and I looked at him kind of crazy, like
Like what?
I looked at him like, what's wrong with this fool? But it woke my game up. It woke my game up right then and there. Like, it's like a glitch in the matrix. It's crazy because I've never seen an American black man just cat off and start going off in another language like that before. So to hear it, like, we normally hear Puerto Ricans or dark skinned Dominicans, so we expect them to, but I didn't expect him to do that. So
Right.
when he shocked me, and then now in my opinion, I speak it better than all of them.
Right. That's what I love about Mexico, though, because the culture is so different from the U.S. and it helped me understand my blackness even more so than the United States. On the fact that I really understood what it meant to be black and be global. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
because
Like
we are global.
yeah, we speak French, we speak Portuguese, we
Everything.
speak. You know what I mean? People that look like me and you.
We
Like
speak
we're
everything.
yeah, we're everywhere. Like our
So
cultures, we're attached to everything.
the goal is to remember,
The goal is
ac-
to remember.
acordar, to
Yes.
remember where you come from, who you are, what you're doing here, and why. The goal is to remember. So like just me learning the language over time and learning it the way that I have learned it, and my babies speak their first language is Spanish. um it leads me to believe that I didn't just start off in Chicago, like, I'm from Chicago. You look frozen. You back.
Wow, how they do us like you speaking too much knowledge.
Yeah, the ism. It's
Wow.
good though. It's good though. We're gonna keep it. But
Wow.
yeah, it just led me to believe that my I didn't start in Chicago, Illinois. I just popped up.
You just popped up, man. You just popped up. And
That's
it's
it.
crazy. I love how fascinated, it might sound funny, how fascinated people are with us. And I'm not saying just me and you, just our people in general, especially Black Americans. When we come
Hmm.
around, it's like it feels like everybody wants to cater to our culture, our music, our everything. At the same time, teaching us, what they like, but they want to show how I don't know what's the word, how connected we are. I guess like they
At
want
the
to feel
end,
a
yeah.
part.
I was waiting for you to say it. At the end of the day, we are connected.
Right,
It's a unified consciousness, and
right,
we all at the end of our journeys physically, we end up going back to source, returning back to source, and charging back up, and doing it again, and doing it again, and doing it again forever. You know,
right,
so I didn't start in Chicago or Sacramento, or I just popped up and kept it lit. Now my children speak Spanish. They travel. They travel alone. They travel with me. They just like to travel. They like to see new things, and it's kind of like a vice now of mine to just explore.
right.
Pero
See, because
um,
if we were to listen to the propaganda or the stuff that the narrative that the United States pushes about other countries, we would never get the experience that we have gotten. Because I feel
I
as an
love, I love,
American, you're coming from a country with so much opportunity
yeah.
and so much advantages, right?
Hmm.
That
Hmm.
when you go to these other countries, you basically have to kind of like do away
Yeah,
with
you
that
got to start
mindset.
all over again. It's like a video game. This is what do they call it? That word just left slipped my head, but a simulation. I
Assuming,
guess.
yeah,
I
right?
guess.
No,
But
for real.
when you change levels, you get new equipment, you get new tasks, you get new agenda. It's like you got to change. You got to flip your mind. The mind is the best tool that we have. People want to change their face. They want to change their buns. They want to change their biceps. They want to change their height. They want to change their weight. And you should change your mind, because
Right.
your mind is the best tool that we have to,
But you
like
know what?
if I didn't think and believe, which believe is not the word that I want to use, but if I didn't know in myself that I could learn Spanish, because when I got to Mexico, a lot of the basketball players, they was just disappearing, like not literally disappearing, but like the next morning after a game or after practice, they would be on their way home, like with no money, and then back to square one where they left off. And I didn't want that to happen to me. So I knew I could learn Spanish. I knew I could learn Spanish. So I was like, if I could learn Spanish, I know for a fact they can't get rid of me like they getting rid of everybody else. So
Right.
I learned the language. And learning the language, I started learning other things faster that had nothing to do with basketball. It had nothing to do with sports at all. It's just culture and life and expectancies and disappointment. I just started downloading everything in their language. And then, a lot of stuff, because I felt like I was going in the past, a lot of that stuff started to make allow me to remember where I came from, the morals that I was raised under, the family, and the things that you know that covered me and protected me this whole time.
Right.
So
One of the most beautiful things about traveling to another country, from what you're talking about, it made me think about like the experience of, or it humbles you to be a representation of something that they thought was the experience of a black person per se,
yeah,
but
that
you
that was
get to,
dope.
you know what I mean? You get to show them like, nah, man, like
That was
we're
dope.
we're not like one dimensional, we're not a monolith. We're just
What
like we're many different things, you know?
What's crazy is going to Mexico. I don't mean to cut you, but you're right. What's going to Mexico it kind of refocused my focus so I could see my purpose. The things that I was supposed to be doing this while I was in America, while I was a kid, while I was growing up in college. I was supposed to be doing these things. I had to do them in Mexico as a professional athlete and a black, a Moorish man. I'm a black man for everybody to understand where I'm going. Is like the representation. I knew how they saw black men. They would tell us, and a lot of the thank you for the likes. A lot of the people that would tell me were friends. So they would come genuine. They would ask me genuine questions like why this and why that, like wholeheartedly. So they got an honest opinion from me, and my opinion opened up uh a revolving door for them to understand how we think and how we really get down. Because uh, when I first got to Mexico, I was a hothead. The energy from being an American and all the animosity that I had. For in some states it was attractive, in some states it was looked down upon. You know,
Right.
in some states they was like, "You tripping, tranquilo, mijo, you doing too much. We don't do that here." And in some states they like, "Yeah, I like this cabron. What's happening with this fool? You smoke, boy,"
Okay,
and all
so
this stuff.
so what states were that? Give me the like a one state that kind of thought you was doing too much, and one state that was with all the bullshit.
Uh, well, Mitchell Con for one is one of them states where it's everywhere. Whatever
Right,
you want to do, however you want to do it, you can find yourself into some trouble in
right,
Mitchell Con, even if you didn't want to. But they love me because I stood on business. I'm from
that
Chicago, and a lot of the people that were born and raised in Michoacan, they end up going to Chicago, so they already felt me. They donde eres Moreno, and I'd be like Chicago, and they have a family member in Chicago, they have a story or
right.
something history in Chicago. So Michoacan reminded me of Detroit, Chicago, Michigan. The they're aggressive, but there's reason. You know what I'm saying? There's valid reason. You know what I mean? So, and they're right next to Guerrero, which is another state that I love and adore. Acapulco, Ixtapa, Cihuatanejo, all those places. Those are Mexicans of color, whether
More
they
southern, coastal.
whether they're islander, whether they're mixed with Cubano, whether they're mixed with Afro Mexicano, they right there, Oaxaca, Guerrero, and Michoacan. A lot of the brown, so I felt at home. They was doing what I was doing at the crib.
Right.
You
And
know
see,
they
that's a lot of the conversation. Like, I remember before I met you, so this is over 10 years ago, when I was in Stockton and I saw this curly head, almost like, like your son. You know what I
You said
mean?
Stockton in
Yeah.
Stockton.
I was in
Hmm.
Stockton, yeah, and I saw this
Hmm.
curly head kid, almost had curly hair like your son. And I'm like, oh, you got some pretty hair. Like, are you Puerto Rican? Are you Dominican? He's like, no, I'm Mexican. And I'm like, this is before
He
all the
did. I
convers
remember. I
yeah, this is
remember. He
before all
had.
this conversation started coming up about the history between the Seminoles, the Black Americans crossed over to the Texas side, and all this stuff, right? And
Mhm.
I didn't know, that Mexico was so rich in culture as far as besides, because I really didn't understand what a Mexican was, right?
Mexican is and Mexico got everything in it. They got Asians, they got Russians, they got
Middle
everything. They got
Easterns,
Africans, they got you can see every Mexican
Jewish
is a
people,
mixture of everybody in it. Don't
yeah,
let them fool you and tell you a Mexican is this or a Mexican is that. I didn't sat there and talk to people in Spanish. I know where their families come from. It's in the blood. But because they were born in Mexico, they consider them Mexican. So my thing is this: for all of the American Mexicans, and this might ruffle a feather or two, but like if you don't speak Spanish and you wasn't born in Mexico, you an American, bruh. You're an American, sis. You're an American. Hermano, you're an American. Uh, Speaking Spanish and knowing your culture and knowing that just kudos to you because you remember and you're able to tap back in, and be in the past, present, and future all at once. But Mexico, just like every other continent, has everything in it.
right, right, right,
Jason Dickerson, what's up? What's up, Brody?
right. And that's
Favorite place?
see, and it's like so many. Yeah, I put a Q&A up there. They're asking me to put a Q&A, and yeah, thank you for all the likes and the comments, y'all. Because so many people have a misconception of Mexico. They have the narrative that's painted about Mexico is like always a bad thing, like they do Black people in the United States, right? What's
Right.
going on with you, man? We chilling, man. Thank y'all for the
If,
love.
to
So
answer your
it's
question, to back up and answer your question before we hit the 30-minute mark, uh, Chiapas would be my favorite place if I had to pick Chiapas because there are places in Chiapas that make me feel like I'm not even on the planet.
right. It's a lot of indigenous people in that region too.
Yeah, Chiapas is close to the peninsula with Cancun, Yucatan, Merida, the Mayan, everything down there. I love it. Hola,
Or
¿cómo
Maria
estamos?
Ricos. Yes. You guys can share this live too if you like what we're talking about. You can share it. If you have any questions you want to ask me too, you guys, or ask Yanga or Yanga, you have any questions you guys want to ask? You guys
¿Qué
be open
tal?
to
¿Qué tal?
share your questions. Um
Younger Nation Network on YouTube. Follow me. Sígame. What
yeah,
channel is this? We on?
we're on Diani. So, um, one thing I noticed too is like there's so much conversation going on now. And I mean, it's Black History Month. So, of course, and I'm a Black woman. So, I'm going to talk about the Black experience. And within Mexico, there's so much influence from African and Black culture that people don't talk about. It's crazy. What was the question? Have you visited any predominantly Black areas in Mexico, Yanga?
For sure. Younger Veracruz. Younger Veracruz. All those. I mean, a lot of the states have communities that, have, but a lot of those indigenous communities are off into the mountains. And I've played basketball in a lot of, in maybe 30, como 30 municipios de Oaxaca. Jugamos basketball en como 30 lugares de
Remember when you first took
Veracruz
me to
también.
Oaxaca? And
Ujú.
then when you first took me to Oaxaca and I actually got to see people that looked like me in Oaxaca and we
I
were
think that
staring.
was I think that was Veracruz. You saw that little
Nope,
girl at the bus
nope,
station.
no, not that part. It was when we went to Oaxaca and you went
Uh-huh.
for the tournament and we were in Huatuco. And while we were in Huatuco, we were walking down like to the store or something, and me and these groups of girls were staring at each other, and I'm like, oh my god, like you know, like this is
Yeah,
really
they
the
look like
Afro
you.
Mexican, type
Yeah.
deal going
Yeah,
on.
so that's what I'm trying to say. Even though we don't go directly to the communities per se, we go to places close to them, and Puede hablar español muy bien. Gracias. Gracias. Yeah, we'll go close enough to be like Guanajuato and Querétaro got a lot of morenos y morenas. A lot
So,
of them.
and I learned Michoacan. Remember someone told me about that one city in
Yeah,
Michoacan? I forgot the
yeah.
name of it. I have to find that.
And,
So
and
like
go ahead.
all this conversation now is coming about because like through the history that we've been studying, I learned a lot of history about Mexico from you. But digging into these conversations that are happening on social media, people are coming to find out that they erased a lot of the history and the influence that Mexico has, that Black people have had on Mexico. So what they'll do is they'll say something like majority of Mexico is mestizos. So
Hmm.
basically, mestizo is saying that it's Spaniard and indigenous mixed, right?
Hmm.
And which is like what a lot of people are, yes. But
Hmm.
in that influence too, though, there's a lot of African and Black mixture in there, as
Hmm.
far as even in the politics, your from presidents to national heroes to
You
just a
can't hide it.
you
Can't
can't
hide it.
you can't
Can't hide
and people, I think
it.
people are ashamed of it because of the connotations that come with being dark skinned or Black because of the caste system, and you know all too well about that.
I do, I do. But you know where I am in my heart, I think we should be looking forward, trying to paint the net. Paint. We know the history that we've been taught has been tampered with, and we know a lot of the things that we grew up learning. We need to change. So I feel like as a
Let's
as a
talk about
group,
that.
we should be moving forward, trying to figure out um, what language should we be creating, or what languages should we, from this point forward, we should be trying to figure out what things we should create on our own and together that'll make it better,
Yeah,
than
and
what we know
I feel like digging into history too, not to talk about all the bad stuff that has happened, but there's a lot of good that has come out of the
for
history.
sure, for sure.
Like
A lot of beautiful people, a lot of
music,
beautiful everything.
culture, clothing,
Yeah,
food. The coming together. Like I don't. I I honestly believe the conquistadors, whatever,
conquistadores.
conquistadors,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
people who came and you know brought in all these different races and probably did away and erased other
And
histories and
it's
cultures. You
it's
what?
crazy because a lot of these states they have both Afro Mexican and Spain. They have everything. So each state, like when you got over hundreds of years and thousands of years of being in the same state together, you, there's we live in a universe of infinite possibility. You know, people are being born and people are passing through every day, every second of the day.
Right.
I know this is our first live, but I wonder if we can. I wonder if they be tripping if I'm finna start burning on YouTube. You think they'd trip if I
Probably. Most
and they
likely.
start tripping?
Most
Anyway,
likely.
uh, quiero regresar a Cuba para visitar. Yo quiero ir a Cuba para la primera vez.
So he's from Cuba?
I don't think he's from Cuba, but he said he wants to go back to Cuba to visit.
Right. Right.
Um,
Where are you from?
¿De
What's his
dónde
name?
eres?
They don't
It's
know
it.
this.
It's hard
Mhm.
to. It's hard to pronounce. Even read that name.
I definitely want to
Uh,
go to Cuba. Like Cuba is on my bucket list for sure. So rich in history and culture, you
for
know?
sure.
Like
Havana, Havana.
for real. That sounds amazing. But no, you're right. I feel that, it's time to talk about like how to build on this stuff. Like how can we
Yeah,
create
because we know what it is, and everybody just gonna continue to get frustrated of what happened in the past when none of us was there. None of
that
us was
part?
there. None of us was there, so we can't keep arguing about who saved who and who shot who in the face, and we can't be tripping off stuff like that because ain't no. I mean, I don't. We don't see nobody doing it now.
Oh, he's from Bahamas. For real, we you I it's actually a tactic that's used to keep us confused and separated. And when we realize that none of that really matters, it's about the uniqueness that came out of it. You know what I mean? The beauty that came out of it that's going to keep us alive and thriving. And but I am interested in history. I love learning the history because
For sure. For
going to
sure. I
Mexico,
love history too.
yeah, it taught me so much about myself as a black woman. You wouldn't think, you know what I mean, that that would be the case. Like I feel like I found the God in me in Mexico. And you kind of said the same thing. You found your purpose. And
We went to the top of Teotihuacan. And you remember what they told us about that history, what they thought about the history?
yes,
And it's not verbatim, but they felt like the human being that reached the top of that pyramid, reaching the top of, because those stairs were steep. Those stairs were steep.
it's
You
back
can't
open
be
too.
out of shape. You
It's back
can't be
open.
out of shape and climb them stairs on that pyramid in 45 minutes away from Mexico City. If you out of shape, you're not gonna make it past the second step, let alone it's all the way. But anyway, they if you made it to the top, you can that's where you converted to the God body, the God being of, and they had a lot of gory stories about the pyramids as well, but they used to worship there. It was hundreds of pyramids there, but um yeah, we went to the top of that mug. So yeah, I
And
feel
there
it.
was
I
actual
felt it.
ceremony going on when we got to the top. Remember that?
Yeah, they had a rope.
Yes.
Remember that rope that you had to hold on to?
Yes. I want to go back.
Crazy
So it's
work.
open up again for us to climb up there, and I would love to go back.
Vamos, vámonos. Whoever want to go with us, man, come on. Traveling is so important for human development. Yes, it is. Jesus traveled. Everybody travels. Everybody travels.
Hola, pumpkin. No,
If
for
you
real.
don't travel, you're a tree.
No, for real. For
And
real.
they find ways to travel.
And I do one other thing that, from an American perspective, of course, I can only, that's most of my experience. I hate how a lot of these other countries, when we go to visit and the conversations we have, they blame so much on Americans. And
Hate is
then,
a strong word. Hate is a strong word, man.
no, I hate that they blame so much on Americans. That
I
annoys
mean,
me
you
to death.
do. I mean, yeah, but I mean, it's cool to dislike something. Hate is like
I know it's
they
not a
do it. They
person.
do it, but yeah, I
I'm not
know, but
hating a
they do it.
person. I'm
But
hating an
they do
act.
it. They
I'm
do
not.
it for the lack of. They do it for the lack of knowledge, and we
Yeah, and
know that.
I hate the lack of knowledge. I don't hate the person. I hate the actual act. You know what I mean? There's a difference. And that
So
no, when I say that too, because when you blame somebody for something that's out of their control, like as an American, I have no control of what goes on in my country. I'm not into the politics. I have no say. I have no rights. As far as that, I just follow law. So when you're in another country and you're blaming a whole nother country instead of the leaders, how about the leaders in your country that allow a lot of the things that are going on, you know, in the country that you're in, to where you have to leave to go to another country to make money, or poverty is really bad in that country. Like everything that's happening in the United States of America, I blame the United States of America. I don't blame Mexico. I don't blame
right,
Japan.
right. I
I'm
do
like,
too.
I,
I
I
do
hate that.
too.
I hate
I
that we
blame
get
the
blamed for a
people
lot of stuff.
within. Yeah, I mean, you got to look within to find any answer that you're looking for. The people. You watch a dog how it chases his tail. Keep chasing his tail because it's what that's how you're gonna be when you keep looking outside of yourself for a
Right,
resolution.
right. If you're not a part of the elite, we all fighting the same fight. You know what I'm saying?
Is that an ice cream truck?
Yeah. We're all fighting the same fight. No, I don't take it personal at all. It's just that the conversations, and then when you want to talk to people, like, well, how about your government? Oh, what do you mean? My government's great.
I do
Okay,
the same
so
thing when they start talking about my Spanish. I ask them this. Well, we want to talk. Let's speak in English. Let's do it in English then,
by
and
default, we
the
all
conversation ends.
we're all born. We all don't have a say in where we're born. We all don't have a say in our experience. I'll say from birth to adulthood. Now, after adulthood,
I feel like we gotta say. I feel like we don't remember that we had to say. That's just my
That's a whole nother
personal opinion.
conversation. You
That's a
getting too
whole
deep
nother,
now.
yeah, yeah,
You go
yeah. I feel like we
stay.
gotta
You
say.
need stay on.
I
We want to
always
stay on
gotta
planet
say.
Earth right now.
No, I'm okay. When you connect it, man, you in tune with the moon and the sun. I feel like I always had to say and everything, but that's why I don't blame nobody else. You can't blame no one else for your mess ups, for your
Yeah,
lack of knowledge. You can't blame anyone but you. So
right. And then when you talk about um currency, let's talk about currency. Okay, it's crazy that people look at you as an American and like they think you have money. It to me, it's so funny. Like,
you know it's crazy. You know it's crazier. Americans that don't have money that act like they got it.
it's like
Like,
I
why
go
would you
to
do that? Why would you? You know, okay, if people look at you like you got money, and you know that. Why act like you got it when you know you don't got it?
right. When I went to Mexico for the first time with you, and I'm seeing all these people with money and all these people with resources, it's like they don't show you stuff like that in the United
Mm-mm,
States. If you
mm-mm.
listen again to the propaganda that's posted in the United States, you'll think everyone but in the United States is poor. But then you go to a country and you live in it, and these people have more things than you have. Not only are they
Yeah,
financially richer, spiritually richer, you know what I mean? More connected as family, traditions richer. It's like, come on, man, we've been lied to. We've been lied to for so long in the United States. That's what I've noticed so much. That we've been lied to so much about the experiences of the world. And I really want people to like, if it's not to leave, to move out, try to travel, slow travel. I mean, long term, try to go somewhere longer than a month and get off the resort too. That's what I loved about our experience.
don't get off the resort if you have not learned the language. You don't know the language, you gonna look silly.
Right, right. Or you can go with a guide. Find a
Yeah, go with
guide.
somebody. Go with somebody you really, really trust that knows the language.
Yeah. And I mean, I love luxury. Don't get me wrong. I love luxury. I love nice things. I love all that stuff. But to me, the richest experience that I've ever had was not at a resort, which, again, resort is cool. But getting off and exploring
Resort got
local,
limitations.
yeah, local and native cultures and eating their traditional foods and really going into these places, like you said, if it's safe, don't get me wrong, when it's safe, and really like becoming a part of a family that will embrace you because I don't know about anywhere else, but Mexico, when you try and learn the Spanish or whatever, an indigenous language, they embrace you. I see how they do you. I see how they do you. We get so many
I didn't,
perks because you speak Spanish.
I didn't expect that though. Like I learned the language because I didn't want to get finessed. But with learning the language, I learned how to um understanding the language, I learned the culture and I learned how to they call it convivio, like convivir, like live amongst. I learned how to do, the things of the land, like become one with the culture. You can't just. I stuck out already because of my skin color and my ways of, how I am. But when they see that I can change those ways and put a halt to those ways and get down with the get down, that's what they respect. It's not really the learning of the language. It's the can you get with the program? You
Right.
know what I mean? Because they program.
Yeah. That's yes.
They program. Can you get up and do what we doing every day? Yeah, I can. And
Right.
son, they
And that's what
respect
make
that.
you I'm gonna answer what is his name? Buanana? I'm gonna answer his question in a second about the food. But what was I gonna say? I was gonna say something about what you were just saying. What tripped me out, I remember when we went to Mexico again, and we were in Mexico City and it was Independence Day. And there was over 1 million people. And it was quiet.
And
Everybody was
everybody was in a single file line.
single lie. You can't
Waiting,
drink.
waiting to go somewhere to stand. It wasn't a concert. It wasn't a basketball game. It was the 4th of July. No, it was the 4th of July. It was the 16th of September.
September. And they wanted to see the president, and they were about to pack into this open arena and just celebrate, their independence from Spain, and but
You
to
know,
see.
it's crazy. I don't mean to cut you off, but that was the year they had the president that all the women voted for because they thought he was attractive. That was that.
I did
That
not
was
know
that
that.
year.
That's
That was
wild.
that
They
president.
did not do that. No, they did not.
So he was
They did not
standing
do
there
that.
with his wife. It was the young president. Yep. And
Oh
all the
my
women
god.
was voted. That was I forgot his name, but they voted for him just because they liked him.
Yeah, but to
Crazy
see
work.
how quiet and organized, with no alcohol, no one was drinking any alcohol at that.
They don't let you drink after. I don't think after a certain hour on that day you can't drink.
I know. Just to see that and people abiding by that was just like, now that was a culture shock.
Not everybody. It was some drunk. It was some not everybody.
Baracho, is it? What is
It was
it?
some borrachos out there for sure.
Borrachos. So, what is Mexican comida like? Woo! So, what would you say your favorite is food? Mexican food.
My favorite Mexican dish is pozole.
That's mine. You can't have that. Cause pozole verde, pozole rojo, pozole.
Pozole verde. And it gotta be chicken with hominy. It gotta be chicken. It gotta be the chicken, the shredded chicken with the corn. It gotta have the works, man. And it can't be the soupy. It gotta be
The
the
thicker. Yeah,
yeah,
I
yeah.
love the history behind pozole, but mine is too. Mine is pozole verde. I would like the pork one, but I don't can't eat pork anymore. But it's
Pork one is fire. Pork one is fire. I ain't gonna lie, that pork one is fire.
if you did.
You go to the right rancho, that red pork one, that one fire too. But pozole, after pozole, my favorite dish would probably be um I got exclusive special dishes that aren't favorite that I like just to try. But like my favorite is pozole. After pozole is chilaquiles. I love chilaquiles. She'll tell you this
Rojo
lady
or
out there.
verde?
Everything verde.
Okay.
Um Chilaquiles, and then after chilaquiles, it'll probably be mole, and that's not a top, that's top. But I rock with mole because depende quien lo haga, depende quien lo haga. I mess with it. It depends on who does it.
I would say pozole for sure. Albondigas is super fire, which albondigas is just meatball soup, you guys. But the way they do it with the fresh vegetables and you put
Oh
rice
man, that
inside the
broth
meatballs, it's amazing. But
fire.
then birria. But the birria has to be borrega or it has to be
Chivo.
chivo, lamb or goat. Yes. I don't do the beef birria. I don't know what that is. Like who does that?
That just mean that they couldn't find the chivo or the
They couldn't
borrego.
find a chivo. And then of course taco suadero. Oh my god. Mwah.
I like the campechanos.
Like the Camachanos.
All they hear is tether and buffer and babble. I don't know how serious they are, but I can hear you and you can hear me.
Right. Let he's probably sometimes I get a lot of haters on here too. Avenge the
That's all.
ancestors, yeah, he's definitely
I'm
on some
doing
other
the
stuff.
ancestors. He eat
Um,
fried chicken.
you know what? Avenge the ancestors. Do you know that a lot of foods in Mexico is inspired by Africans? Did you know that?
Almost,
I don't know if you
almost,
know
almost,
that.
almost all of them.
Yeah, the ones that I like too. And some I just heard today, I'm gonna have to find the information that mariachi has African influence in it. Mariachi. I don't hear that. I don't. So drums were banned in Mexico, and because the drums were banned in Mexico, you know that kind of dance where they wear like the tap shoes.
Mm-hmm.
that was the drumming. That was the sound of the drum, because the drums were were banned, and so they used that to make the drumming sound.
I bet they couldn't. They couldn't. That's that. That's that chakra down here. That music. That boom, 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 boom. That's that chakra down here. A lot of people can't take that frequency.
Yes,
A lot of people when they hear that coming, they get the scrambling.
yes.
So they don't.
So
That's that spirit though.
I
You know what I
was so
mean?
shocked when I heard that, because mariachis, it's an acquired sound. So, but yeah, man. So at the end of the day, let's just tell me one thing how living in Mexico changed your experience about who you are,
One thing.
about your race.
um, it's a lot of things that we came up doing within our families, amongst our friends, that we later somewhere we start becoming ashamed of. You know, how we respected our mother and our father, how we treated our brother and our sister. Um, like the way they treat their neighbor in Mexico is different. Like we are ashamed of those things. We become ashamed, like as a like those things are looked down upon in our society. Me being from
Okay,
America,
question.
so
Do
that's
you
just one
think
of.
Black Americans have taken on a lot of their oppressors' mentality? Because when you
For
say that,
sure.
okay,
Not just Morenos, not just dark skinned people either. The Mexican community, the Latin community has done it, the Asian community has done it. Every community, they got a side to choose. It's one or the other. It's not even color, it's good or bad. And you can see in people's actions, you know what I mean, and what the their morale and the things that they hold daily, the things that they do daily, you could tell, and I just feel like going back in time, because that's what it felt like to play basketball and chase a dream. I chased it backwards in time to remember a lot of the things that have been forgotten. Within my culture, we sped up our culture so fast, we just forgot how to do things, or we just like we ain't gonna do that. Just fuck it, we ain't doing that because it just take too much time to do it. Like
okay.
that.
Moana
That's it.
says, do you guys notice African spirituality in Mexico? And then he says, family is still strong in Mexico.
Yeah, both of those things are true. We go to Cancun, you go to La Isla, you gonna see them doing an African dance. Like a lot of them dances that they be doing in the Mayan area and in certain areas, they hear that drum. That drum ain't completely left Mexico. Don't act like they just got rid of the bass drum. They hear that drum, they start moving like they supposed to move, whether they Mexican, African, Republican, or Democrat. They gonna start moving like how they supposed to move. But
So yeah, I noticed when we were in Playa del Carmen and they were doing the traditional Mayan ritual type stuff by the ocean. That's the first thing I noticed. I was like, this. I feel like I'm in a tribal place where
yeah,
it included some spirituality from Africa, because that those drums are reminiscent of like the sounds, you know.
even though the what's the guys who be swinging from the ropes.
Oh, I forgot.
I don't know what that's called or where they get even that. Like, give me ancestral vibes. The way they
That's some
do
different
that.
stuff. I ain't seen that
That's
nowhere
dangerous.
but
That's
Mexico.
dangerous.
That's
Hanging upside down, swinging from your ankles is not cool every day. Every day, nah, that ain't cool.
That's
But,
amazing. But yeah, I've
yeah,
noticed a few things. Um, and I'm not too deep into African spirituality, and I don't really understand, that. But you do notice. You guys are awesome. I hope we bump into each other if I ever get to Mexico. You will get there. Thank you.
Vámonos. Vámonos juntos. We can go together. Show you the
And
way.
what I do know and what I do experience, because again, I'm with you, and now that I'm able to explore Mexico on my own because I've learned through you,
Hmm.
there's an appreciation for us that you won't hear somebody, a Mexican American, talk about.
No.
You know,
But guess what? That appreciation comes from appreciation of self.
right, right,
If they can't appreciate their own self, how can they appreciate you or anybody else for that matter? They don't
right,
even know how to appreciate their own life.
right,
So I don't expect nobody to understand how much I appreciate me and what God means to me and my family.
right. Because a lot of the conversations that I have on my social pages, so if you guys are following me on TikTok, you'll see a lot of conversations I have with people, and a lot of it is Mexican Americans who have a problem with the stories that we're telling about our experiences in Mexico. But when you go to Mexico and you're a black person, you don't have a lot of pushback as far as learning the culture. They want you to learn the culture. They want you to talk about it. They want you to share it, you know?
Yeah,
But on
for
social
sure.
media, you got these internet thugs who, you know, want to demean you and talk down on you and tell you, why don't you go to Africa, and like, think that's a bad thing. And you never hear that in Mexico
Good.
ever.
Tell them let's go together. What you mean? Why don't I go to Africa? Let's go together so you can see too. The people that tell you to go, come on, let's go. I ain't never been. Let's go together. I guarantee you they gonna and feel the difference.
Right. Do you have any questions to ask me, Yoga?
Um, Same question. Like, how has you said Mexico has changed your life for the better? Like
My view
you
on
said.
race?
No, you said like you found the animal. You found the that part of you that, you know what I'm saying. What do you think attributed to the awakening or the enlightening of your new being?
Well, because we went to Mexico and we didn't have the the tourist experience, I got to really go inside the culture and really see how welcoming people are to us, and how they
Mm.
open their doors, their bedrooms, their homes, cooked for you, so
Their bedroom
hospitable.
is crazy.
You
They ain't
know,
open their bedrooms like that, but I know what you mean.
we
They
even
open
had
their.
an abuela come to us. Remember, we were in Puebla, told us to have a baby and we can give it to her.
I
You don't
remember
remember
that.
that?
I remember
Yeah,
that. Yeah,
we
I
had a
remember
lady who didn't even know us, and she was just like, "Can you guys have a baby and give it to me, please?" It's a. I've had
I don't
ladies.
think she was. You thought she was serious?
I had ladies sit down with me and tell me how inspiring Black women are to them because of our strength. And there's a lot of machismo culture in Mexico where women still are
Mhm.
fighting for certain rights. And
For sure.
so there's a lot of I was humbled. So it was a humbling experience to go into a place where you're still trying to figure out yourself, but people see you as
Mhm.
strong, which is really dope. And I
Mhm.
had the opportunity to show people what a Black woman was really like. So it was a great experience because um again, there's a lot of things that I had to get used to that I didn't really like, but for the most part, you get so much love, and people want to feed you, and they want to know about you, they want to learn about you, and they want to share their story. So you could ask as many questions as you want, and they're open to asking. You know,
Yeah.
so I think that's what found the God in me, because I'm like, wow, there's so much I can learn. I can keep learning because in the United States, everybody knows everything.
Everybody think they know everything.
Right,
You know, till
right,
they lead a block or they lead a spot, and then they thought they knew.
right. So I hope that answers your question. How do they treat Black people? So depending, but there is. there is some stigma around black people because of what they see in the media. Like if you have rastas, locks like you, they think, they automatically think you're poor because you have rastas.
I don't think they look at me and think I'm poor though.
Not you. I'm saying majority of people who have rastas. They
Yeah,
I was
yeah. They
talking to a
think
few
they
people.
think they're miseducated or less educated, but if
Yes, exactly.
it's stereotypes all over the world. They think a lot of thing about a lot of things about Mexicanos too that aren't true. But again, I rock with Mexico. It opened my eyes to a lot of things, not just that one thing, but a lot of things. I fathered children in Mexico. I learned a lot about how to be amongst, so and then I've aided in a lot too. I help a lot of people understand things in their life they probably couldn't. It took them 10, 15 years to get, and meeting me helped them graduate a level or two. You know what I'm saying? With their families and friends, because I befriended a lot of teenage boys who become men over 20 years. So they asked me for advice, fatherly advice, brotherly advice, all kind of advice because they know I can see it from a different perspective or a different angle coming from a different culture.
Right. Facts. So yeah, that's pretty much. Dude, this has been amazing. This is just kind of us getting our foot in the door, doing a live, but I think we did really well. Like it ran smoothly. I don't know. Let us know what y'all think in the comments. How do you think our live went? Did you like the topic, the conversation? And if there's other topics you'd like us to talk about, we are down. We
Feel
have a
free
lot
to
more to
ask.
share. You know, we have a lot more to
If you
share.
if you want to, we can go live. Younger Nation Network is my other channel on YouTube. I'm pretty sure this channel also. Thank you, thank you, thank you. This live is going to continue, and we can and unite these lives together. But if you want to, we can go live on a different platform later.
Let's go to TikTok right now.
Right now,
What time you think
son las
later?
son las tres. Yeah, son
Son
las
las
tres.
tres.
I
What
got
time?
I got like 15 minutes on TikTok.
All right. All right. Thank you guys so much. YouTube, we'll be back. Ciao.
Yeah.